On a quiet spring night in 1946, a shadow stepped out of the dark on a lonely road near Texarkana, and American history changed forever. This is not a legend. This is not folklore. This is the true, documented story of a killer who struck without warning, vanished without a trace, and was never identified. Between February and May 1946, the border cities of Texarkana, Texas, and Texarkana, Arkansas were gripped by fear. Newspapers called him the Phantom Killer. Locals whispered another name, the Moonlight Murderer. His targets were young couples. His crime scenes were quiet lovers' lanes. His weapon changed. His identity never surfaced. The first confirmed attack occurred on February 22, 1946, just after 11:45 p.m. on Highway 67, about 3 miles northeast of Texarkana. Jimmy Hollis, age 25, and Mary Jeanne Larey, age 19, were sitting in a parked car when a man wearing a white cloth mask with eye holes approached. He ordered them out at gunpoint. Hollis was brutally beaten. Larey was sexually assaulted. Both survived, but they described a man of medium build, calm, controlled, and terrifyingly deliberate. On March 24, 1946, the Phantom escalated. Paul Martin, 17, and Betty Jo Booker, 15, went missing after a movie night. Their bodies were discovered the next morning near Spring Lake Park. Martin had been shot 4 times. Booker had been shot twice and left partially unclothed. This time, there were no survivors. The killer had crossed a line, and the community knew it. Panic spread across both states. Local law enforcement, assisted by Texas Rangers and Arkansas State Police, launched one of the largest manhunts the region had ever seen. On April 13, 1946, in the early hours of the morning, Virgil Starks, a 37-year-old farmer, was shot and killed inside his home on Richmond Road, just outside Texarkana. His wife, Katie Starks, was shot twice, but survived. This attack shattered previous assumptions. The Phantom no longer targeted just couples and cars. He was adapting. Ballistics later confirmed that the same .32 caliber automatic pistol was likely used in multiple attacks. Footprints were found. Witnesses were questioned. Suspects were detained, none held. The final known attack occurred on May 3, 1946. Ben Stark, 29, was shot through a window while sitting in his living room on East 24th Street in Texarkana. He survived, but the message was clear. The killer could strike anywhere. By the end of 1946, the Phantom Killer had vanished as suddenly as he appeared, leaving behind 5 victims, 3 deaths, dozens of false leads, and a mystery that still haunts American criminal history. In Part 2, we will examine the prime suspects, the shocking investigative failures, and why this case, despite names, dates, witnesses, and evidence, remains unsolved nearly 80 years later. If you value historical crime storytelling like this, subscribe to Time-Bolt Chronicles and watch the next video waiting on your screen. The truth doesn't disappear. It hides in time. When the killings stopped in May 1946, relief swept through Texarkana. But it was short-lived. Fear lingered, because the most dangerous question remained unanswered. Who was the Phantom Killer? And why did he vanish? Investigators had suspects. Plenty of them. None could be proven. The most widely discussed suspect was Youell Swinney, a career criminal arrested in October 1946 for car theft. Swinney lived in Texarkana during the murders, had a violent history, and most disturbingly, his wife allegedly told police he had confessed to the killings, but she later refused to testify, reportedly after police pressured her. Without her testimony, prosecutors had no case. Swinney was convicted on unrelated charges and sentenced to life in prison, where he died in 1994, never formally charged with the murders. Another suspect was Hewlett Johnson, a mentally unstable local man who committed suicide shortly after being questioned by police. His death raised eyebrows, but no physical evidence tied him to the crimes, despite fingerprints, shell casings, footprints, and eyewitness accounts. The investigation suffered from a critical weakness common in the 1940s. Limited forensic technology, DNA analysis did not exist. Crime scene preservation was inconsistent. Evidence was often contaminated by crowds, curiosity seekers, and even law enforcement officers moving freely through scenes. Adding to the chaos was the jurisdictional divide. The murders crossed state lines, Texas and Arkansas, creating coordination problems between agencies. The Phantom's behavior also confused profilers. He used different weapons. He changed locations. He attacked couples, then families. Sometimes he wore a mask. Sometimes he didn't. He showed no clear motive beyond terror itself. This adaptability made him almost impossible to predict. In 1956, Hollywood released The Town That Feared Sundown, dramatizing the murders. The film reignited national interest, but also distorted facts, blending truth with speculation. Over time, myth overtook evidence. The Phantom became a symbol rather than a man. Yet the historical record remains clear. These crimes were real, the victims were real, and the failure to identify the killer was not due to a lack of effort, but to the limits of the era. Today, the case remains officially unsolved. Some modern investigators believe DNA testing, if usable evidence still exists, could one day identify the Phantom. Others believe the trail is permanently cold, buried by time, lost files, and decayed evidence. What makes the Phantom Killer case endure is not just the violence, but the silence that followed. No final act, no capture, no explanation. One spring, terror ruled Texarkana, then it simply stopped. Not with justice, but with unanswered questions. If you want more deeply researched, fact-driven crime stories pulled from the hidden corners of history, subscribe to Time Vault Chronicles. Click the next video now.